If we haven't met yet, my name is Alisha Mawji, and I'm the Community and Operations Coordinator here at Embodied Astrology. And this June, as Jupiter moves into Cancer, I'm thrilled to be co-facilitating a space alongside my peer, Amy Ashton. We're calling it At the Heart of Conflict. The word conflict is everywhere right now, being used to describe situations that at the heart of them are really about relating. Navigating across our difference, disconnection, and dysregulation in the spaces where we seek understanding, connection, and love. While there exist many spaces to learn conceptually what conflict transformation requires, there exist very few where we can actually be in the mess together, practicing what conflict transformation entails beyond the theoretical talk and ideals. This series, taking place during Jupiter's stay in Cancer, aims to serve as an active workshopping space where we can better understand ourselves and our others through astrology, practice taking different shapes in conflict, and explore cognitive and somatic frameworks for increasing our capacity in moments of rupture, so that we can actually show up in the ways that we long for. This cohort will meet weekly for 12 weeks, beginning in June, but space is limited. We're capping the cohort at just 10 people to better facilitate connection and allow everyone space to share. More information and the form to apply can be found on our website and in the podcast show notes, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Hello, Aquarius. Welcome to Gemini season. This is your reading if you are an Aquarius sun, moon, or rising. If you know your chart, you can always listen for any sign and just listen through the resonance of wherever that sign is, whatever house it's in, or the associated house and planet. Everybody has Gemini in their chart, and so if you happen to know what house Gemini is in, if you're not an Aquarius rising, or if you want to listen for your third house or Mercury placements, you might find something there. If you're new to astrology, you'll get the most accurate readings by listening for your rising sign. And there's also nuance and variance. So if you have a very late degree Aquarius rising, for example, you might want to check out the Pisces horoscope and see how that one resonates for you. Basically, though, everything here is meant to serve and support you, and you can take what works and leave the rest. So listen for what resonates and make the meaning that is meaningful for you. If you do feel that this reading resonates for you, please let me know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and get notified when future readings come out. Okay, Gemini season starting on May 20th. Phew! Aquarius, Gemini is your fellow air sign. And as we move into this season, the light that is being cast is a very supportive light for Aquarius. Where Gemini shows up in the Aquarius solar charts is in what's called the 5th house. This is one of the most fun places in the chart wheel. And this is an opportunity for you to have some fun. Ideally, if you take one thing from this horoscope, let it be that between May 20th and June 20th, you should have some fun. Do the things that you love to do the most. This is a great time to engage your favorite hobbies, pastimes, passions, etc. This is also really supportive for your creative energy and any kind of authentic, heartfelt creative expression. In Gemini season, we are also getting a little bit of a premonition, a little bit of a preview as the Sun and Mercury move through Gemini, and then later on as Venus comes into Gemini. We're getting a little bit of a preview of a big shift, which is the outer planet Uranus, often a planet that is actually associated with Aquarius, is going to be coming into Gemini in July. And due to retrograde, it will only be there for a couple of months. Uranus stations retrograde at the very first degree of Gemini in September. It will be moving back into Taurus and stationing direct there early next year. But by April of 2026, Uranus will be back in Gemini, and then it will be there until 2033. So that's a big deal. And this season is starting to bring in some forecast kind of energy. What's it called? Foreshadowing kind of energy for that transit for you. Now, I did talk a lot about Uranus in Gemini in your 2025 year ahead reading. If you haven't yet checked that out, make sure that you do. You can find the link in the show notes below. Okay. May 20th, the sun moves into Gemini, and May 26th, we have a new moon in Gemini. May 29th, we have a conjunction of Mercury and the sun, otherwise sometimes called cazimi, which is a fun word. Say it a lot. These first 9 days of Gemini season bring in some really interesting energy into your chart. And I feel that for a lot of you, this is very motivating kind of energy. There might be some exciting new ideas that you're starting to have when it comes to the fifth house themes of favorite pastimes and hobbies and creative expression. I feel that a lot of you might be thinking about how to take the next step with something that you enjoy. Let's say you have a favorite hobby or pastime and you just want to do it more, and you're starting to think about, how can I shape my life so that this thing that I love actually maybe becomes my job or becomes something that takes up more space in my life. Some of you are not at all thinking about making the thing that you love your job. You are just thinking about how to do it more and how to give more time, attention, and focus into the parts of your life that actually feel like living. This could be a direct response to what feels like the opposite. So in this first 9 days, not all Aquarians out there are going to be just in la la land thinking about all the things that they love and enjoy and how to make it better. Some of you are really going to be feeling a sense of what you don't want to do more of. There may be a kind of residual and cumulative feeling of you've put a lot of time and a lot of energy into certain kinds of things, and you just don't want to anymore. You want to be done with that chapter. You want to move on to something else. And so there's a feeling around claiming or reclaiming your time, your energy, your attention, your vitality. This word vitality is a really important word for you to be thinking about right now and into the foreseeable future, especially with Uranus coming into Gemini soon and then staying there for so long. Your vitality, your life essence, your capacity to be creative, taking part in creation is limited. All of us, right? We are limited. Our lives do not go on forever. We cannot inhale forever. If we give our entire lives to doing what we don't want to do at the end of our lifetime, like, that's going to be a regret. A lot of people give the best parts of their life to preparing themselves to enjoy their life somewhere down the line. And then by the time they actually get to the time when they could enjoy their life, they don't have the energy for it. I feel that a lot of you are asking some important questions about your life and your energy and your time and your vitality right now. And you need to be asking those questions. You need to be asking yourself, what do you actually enjoy? What actually makes life worth living for you? For most of us, life cannot be 100% what we want it to be all of the time. For most of us, there are going to be really significant compromises that we have to make. If you, like the other 90-something% of human beings on Earth, are struggling to pay your bills and figure out how to get your basic resources met, the reality is that you're probably going to have to do some things sometimes that you don't always want to do. Living in the world as it is right now can be a huge bummer for so many reasons. There are so many examples of where life could be better and it just isn't, because that's not the situation. But there are opportunities to be creative here. And there are ways that you can shape and reshape your life to give yourself more of what you want. And you really need to do that right now. And so I don't know what that means for you specifically, but when I'm looking at the Aquarius charts, the feeling that I'm having is I want to tell you that your life is yours and what you do with your life really matters. And the small choices that you make are the ones that matter the most. The small choices are the ones that we are making every single day. And a lot of us really get caught up in self-limiting ideas and beliefs where we are just waiting for the big choices. We think that the big choices are not available to us because we haven't made the small choices that will allow us to get there. If you want to publish a book, but you don't sit down to write every day, how are you going to get that book out into the world? If you don't write every day and you want to publish a book and then you sit around complaining that nobody's giving you a book deal, why do you think that's happening? You have to apply yourself with dedication, with discipline, with sincerity. You have to show up for it. And your little choices build into larger circumstances. So as we move into Gemini season, and especially around this new moon, last couple of days of June, I feel that a lot of you are being impressed by the power of your own attention and engagement with your vitality and your life energy. And you are choosing. I'm spell casting for you right now. I hope this is true for you. You are choosing your life right now. You are choosing what you enjoy. You are choosing your vitality. You are choosing to take up your creative agency and empowerment. You are saying yes to what you actually want to live for in every single way that you can. We know that not all options are perfect, but where you can, how you can, and when you can, you are saying yes to what you want to live for. I want to give a special note to those of you who are parents, or if you feel yourself very deeply in the role of a future ancestor, if you are tending young people, you might be choosing life also for them. And definitely for the parents out there, sometimes we make choices for the younger generations that feel like we're not making choices for ourselves. I really want to encourage you to think about how everybody can win right now. And if you feel that there's some kind of compromise where, you want to make life better for your child, your children, but that requires some kind of self-sacrifice that's not going to make life very good for you, I want to ask you to take a pause, get as creative as you possibly can, and see if there are any ways where maybe you haven't been seeing some certain opportunities. Because one of the things that's going to be most important for your kids or for the future to see in you that's going to make their life better also is seeing you make choices for your own vitality. Now, obviously, there's balance there, and we've all seen it and heard about it and maybe experienced it in our own lives when the adults just don't act like it and make choices that really harm the younger ones. I feel that that is not a necessity, that there are ways that you can really make choices for yourself and for your kids right now, if this is resonating for you. But it does require some degree of creativity and negotiating and figuring it out and how to shape it. And I would say that it also might require some openness and transparency with your kids. If they're old enough to have the kinds of conversations with you where they can appreciate you are a human being and like doing your best and trying your best. I'm going to say if they're like older than 12, if they're like in their tweens or teens, they are definitely able to appreciate you as a human being, even if they don't act like that. And even younger kids can as well. Kids are really, really freaking smart. And if you tell them what it is that you're trying to do and you kind of come to them with honesty, my feeling is that they will appreciate that. I want you to make choices that nourish your own life force, that give to you when it comes to your vitality. And I feel like it does not have to be an either or binary if you're thinking about choices that will also be good for your kids or good for the future. Okay, so obviously that's not going to be for everyone. Take what works, leave the rest. The rest of this reading, I'm just going to speak to you. I'm not going to talk about your kids potentially, but let me know if that does resonate. Feel free to disagree with me too. Just help me learn what's coming through my own channel. Moving into the month of June, the first 10, 11 days of June, we are approaching the full moon in Sagittarius. And a really big event is happening, which is that the planet Jupiter is moving from Gemini into the sign Cancer. So as we move towards this event and as we move towards the full moon, I feel that there is this sense of like burgeoning possibility in your chart. And a lot of you are, it's like I see you looking out on a big vista and you're kind of like looking at the expanse of possibility. You have a lot of ideas. It's like the road is open, but you have not yet traveled on it. It is a feeling of awesomeness, right? Like awesome, the word is to be full of awe, and to be full of awe is also to be a little bit scared. And so there may be some excitement, there may be some nervousness. I feel like a lot of you are embarking on some new kind of adventure, or you're setting yourself up for some new kind of rhythm, or you're again, like you're asking questions about your vitality and you're making a decision and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this now. And then as Jupiter moves into Cancer, June 9th, and Jupiter will be in Cancer until June 30th of 2026, so the entire next year, you have a lot of opportunities to realize what you have been dreaming about. And so this full moon feels like you're on a precipice. It feels like your life is opening up. You're making some kind of decision. You're moving decisively in some new direction. You're like taking up a project of some kind. This project has a lot of potentially positive outcomes and benefits, whatever it is, whatever this next new step is. I feel like you are trying to increase your resources. You're trying to build your sense of confidence and self-worth. I feel you are trying to take up your own power. Some of you are looking at opportunities to make more money or to get more of what you need. If it's not finances, it feels like you're saying yes to building something that you want and that you believe in. Over the course of the next year, your discipline, your consistency, your rhythmic regularity is required. You have to show up for this work with responsibility. To be responsible means that we are able to respond and we are not stuck in spaces of reactivity. It is really important that you are able to respond. How can you give yourself lots of opportunities to be response able? You can work with your nervous system. One of the most powerful, potent ways we can build our capacity for responsibility and get ourselves out of cycles of reactivity is by working with our nervous systems. I feel that this next year for you, Aquarius, is asking you to do some deep inner work when it comes to self-soothing and being the friend and family for yourself that you actually really need. Whether or not you had wonderful parents and a wonderful childhood and wonderful friends, there are also ways that you have not been met and you really needed to have been met and you should have been met. You deserved to have been met, but you weren't for whatever reason. And you can meet yourself in those ways. A question I have for you that is a question that was given to me by our most recent guest at Embodied Astrology, the somatic cultural worker and abolitionist Care, who runs Erotics of Abolition. They asked, what is the apology that you needed to have in order to do the thing or be the way that you want to be? What is the accountability that you needed from someone else? Can you give that to yourself now? And there's something that I'm feeling about how you feel your own capacity for something you're trying to do that like needs you to care for yourself right now. So to go back to my earlier example, say you're trying to write a book, and some of you are, because there's a lot that's going on in the place of writing for Aquarians. So say you're trying to write a book. Now, this is just an example. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, make the meaning that's meaningful for you. Some of you are trying to write a book, but you're like, okay, well, in order to write a book, I have to do a little bit of writing every day. I'm not going to get the book deal if I don't have anything to show them. So I'm going to show up for this writing. But in the meantime, I am feeling like I'm not a good writer and I'm ill-equipped to do this because I don't really believe in myself. And then when we really get into it and we're like, well, why don't I believe in myself? What's the internal story here? All the way back a million years ago, in second grade, my writing teacher in elementary school, gave me that negative feedback. That's the place where I started to tell myself the story that I can't do it. Okay. Who knows what it was for you, right? There's something clogging the works right now. There's some kind of little place where there's some stagnancy. There's not movement. There's a need for repair or healing or integration. So when you go back to that initial event and you might think, okay, that second grade teacher gave me that negative feedback. What I really needed to hear then was affirming feedback and encouragement for me to grow rather than negativity that felt like it was limiting. I'm going to now role play in my own imagination and be my second grade teacher and give my 7-year-old self the actual feedback that they needed. I'm going to write it out. I'm going to imagine it. I'm going to role play this sense of like, I'm going to hug myself. I'm going to give myself some kind of felt sense experience that allows me to start to resolve the thing that is keeping this flow stuck somewhere. And then that's a practice that I'm going to do for myself every single week. And that's going to help me then show up for my writing every single day. So that's a metaphor. That's just me going on a tangent. Aquarius, what inside of that resonated for you? What are you really wanting to do right now? Because I feel it like you have an idea. You want to bring it into manifestation. You know that something is possible. To take that idea and make it real, you have to show up for it. But there's something that you want to work through in order to show up for yourself right now. And that work is calling you. And that is what you want to focus on. Okay. And do that as a practice. Show up for that consistently with regularity. Build it into your schedule, and it will change your life. I want to wrap this in a larger time frame. Think back to December of 2020. In December of 2020, Jupiter and Saturn were coming together in a conjunction. Their conjunctions happen once every 20 years. And the last time they conjoined was in 2020, in December, on the solstice, on December 21st. They made their conjunction at the very first degree of Aquarius. And this began a new 20-year cycle. And we are 5 years in. We're 4.5 years in now to that 20-year cycle. So we're a quarter of the way. When a new cycle begins, it is unconscious. It is unknown. Something is impulsively moving towards growth. If you think back to the end of 2020, what were you doing? What was happening for you? This was also a period of time that was preceding Pluto coming into your sign. And what I'm going to say is I feel that since 2020, since the end of 2020, a lot of you have been really working to realize your own power. And something got impressed upon you then in 2020 that had to do with the limits of your power. And clearly you have limitations, as we all do, as this reading started off with, right? Like your life is going to end someday. Your time is limited. Your energy is limited. Your creative potentiality is limited. something got impressed upon you in the end of 2020. And since then, I feel that you've been in this process of like trying to claim your life, trying to take your power, trying to realize your own vitality, trying to remember why you want to be alive on any given particular day. You are doing your best right now to clarify your values, to put investment into what's meaningful for you, to really work with your mind, to stabilize yourself, to get the resources that you need in order to show up in the ways that you want. Since August of 2024, Jupiter and Saturn have been in what's called their first quarter square. So we are a quarter of the way through this cycle. Because of planetary retrograde, they have made a couple of square aspects to each other. There was one in August of 2024, and there was one in December. These squares happened in the signs of Pisces and Gemini. And so over the last 8 months or so, since August of last year, I feel like the focus for a lot of you has really been about resources, and you've been trying to figure out how to get what you need in order to do what you want. And so there's the actual like material resources, and this includes money, but it also includes time and presence. In order for you to enjoy yourself and realize your vitality, and again, do the things that you want. Now, the last square that Jupiter and Saturn are making is on June 13th or June 14th, depending on your time zone, but they have both now moved into new signs. So Jupiter is in Cancer and Saturn moved into Aries in the end of March. And this brings the cycle into this place of embodiment. Something is landing. And this is what I was saying a few minutes ago. Now you have to make it real. So over this last year or so, you've been trying to figure it out. What do I need? Where is it? How do I do it? What do I actually like? What, it's like you've been kind of experimenting. You've been trying to gather the resources. Now the time has come for you to make something more real and more tangible, and you have to set yourself to the work of doing it. And this goes back to what started in 2020 and your mission to cultivate your personal power. Your personal power is not something that's just going to arrive. You have to work on it. You have to attend to it. You have to believe in it, and you have to practice embodying it. And this is what your chart is asking you for right now. It is asking you to step into that sense of personal power. You have some kind of great idea. I don't know what it is, Aquarius, but I feel it. You are on the precipice of an enormously creative phase of your life. So this year, you're starting to get a glimpse of it. This next season, you're getting a little taste of it. But starting in 2026, when Uranus moves into Gemini, you are starting a 7-year cycle of really big creativity, potentially, okay? It requires you to believe in you. Now, part of what's going to make this work is relationships. It's connecting with people. It's communicating. It's giving and receiving information, and it's figuring out how to collaborate. Something about what it is that you are doing cannot be done alone. It actually requires other people, and it requires relationships that are skillful. And the skill, I think, for a lot of you is in around navigating conflict and difference. There is so much wealth and generativity in disagreement. When we have spaces in community that can hold dissent and disagreement and conflict, we actually have stronger communities. Relationships fall apart if people are only trying to be nice and not say anything that upsets anyone, and we can't actually talk about what feels off for anybody. If people are conflict avoidant, we cannot have intimacy. So there's something about what it is that I feel that you're trying to figure out how to do right now that actually requires you getting a lot more comfortable and adept with discomfort and disagreement. And maybe some of you already are. I think out of all the signs in the zodiac, Aquarius is actually the most well-equipped in some ways to like hold the complexities and intensities of human beings. So maybe some of you are already really practiced at this, And now it's like you have to actually really apply it. And the next level of your learning is starting to engage you in the actual work of it. But I feel like there's something that's coming up where it's like, yeah, you got to get into it. You got to get messy. You've got to, like, I don't know, like, be willing to like rough and tumble a little bit, but with with joy. You got to show up for the reasons of what it is that you love. You have to claim the vitality of it. You have to remember why you are doing this. And when you focus on that, then whatever it is that you are doing receives that benefit and grows. Okay, Aquarius, before I end, I want to offer you an embodied integration. Astrology is full of all kinds of information. I've just been yapping at you for half an hour, and this could go in one ear and out the other, and that's fine. But what I hope that you take with you is some sense of deeper somatic awareness and some embodied support. Okay. So what I want to offer you right now is a little bit of integration in your nervous system. And this is kind of playing with the relationship between Aquarius and Gemini. So both Aquarius and Gemini are air signs, and both of these signs have a lot to do with our nervous systems. Our nervous systems have multiple components to them. So you have your central nervous system that includes your brain and your spinal cord. You have your peripheral nervous system, and that's where your nerves, your neurons extend from your spine into your limbs and muscles and tissues. You also have your enteric nervous system, and that's the part of your nervous system that innervates your organs and regulates your vital functions. Our nervous systems are deeply relational, and how our wiring gets wired has everything to do with our environments and the ways that we connect the outer and the inner worlds. So this practice, I hope, will contribute to some of the themes that I've been talking about in your horoscope. And just in general, I hope that it contributes to your greater well-being. It is a practice that can be modified and explored and experimented with. And of course, take what works, leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate for you, leave it. Try to feel out right now into the periphery of your awareness. If you could bring attention to where you feel the edge of your awareness into your skin. For some of you, maybe you can even feel beyond your skin. And our proprioceptive capacities can actually extend beyond our skin. So we can feel movement in the air. We can feel presence, right? Sometimes you can feel a person when they're behind you, even though they might be quite a distance away. So let your awareness move out into your periphery. And as you attend to this peripheral space, to the outer space, just breathe and let your breath expand your awareness. And then shift your concentration and bring your focus into what you feel is your center. And how you feel your center might change day to day or moment to moment. So however you feel your center right now, let your attention be there. And try and bring your attention into the center in the most focused way that you can. Challenge your attention to dwell in the space of your own center. Notice when you get distracted. Make a conscious choice to return your awareness to your center. And if it feels like you're trying to do something and it's hard to feel and you don't know where it is, that's the thing that you're focusing on, okay? So you're looking for the center. You're trying to feel it. You're asking for that awareness to open up in your consciousness. That's the practice. If it doesn't feel immediately locatable to you, that's okay. Okay. Now see if you can extend your awareness into the periphery again. And can you hold your awareness now in the periphery and in your center? Is it possible that you can be in multiple places at once? Can your consciousness get so steady and so intentional that you can feel your center? You can feel the inside of your belly or the beginning of your breath or the front of your spine, wherever you feel your center, at the same time as you're also aware of the space around you. Okay, now in this awareness of center and periphery, I just want you to imagine, Aquarius, what would happen with your energy if you were telling yourself a story about your insecurity and your lack? If you were entertaining thoughts that were self-negating, what would happen in your center and in your periphery? Okay, just notice that energy. And I'm going to ask you what would happen in your center and in the space around you if you were feeling really negative about someone else. If you were concentrated on their failing or shortfall, what you didn't like about them. Okay, Aquarius, think of something that you are really grateful for, that you appreciate a lot. And it doesn't have to be a big deal. It could be a sunset. It could be your favorite flower. Just think of something you feel really grateful for that is easy for you to appreciate and admire. How does it feel in your center? How does it feel in the space around you? Okay, now think about one thing that just makes you so happy. One thing that you really believe in that fills you with joy. That when you are this way or doing this thing or in relationship to it, you just light up. Okay, notice what happens in your center. Notice what happens in the energy around you. Aquarius, what you focus on grows. The ways that our minds move our bodies. When we engage with thought patterns and narratives and fantasies, that has an effect in our energy, in the ways that we show up for relationships, in how we follow through or don't with our desires and commitments. Your life right now is asking you to commit to something in a very regular, disciplined, and steady way. And I want to propose to you that this commitment happens first and foremost energetically. So whatever it is that you're trying to build right now, whatever it is that you want to invest in, that you want to see grow, practice feeling whatever that is in its fullness, in its pure potentiality, in the biggest possible manifestation that you can imagine for it. Imagine that it's already here and feel it in your center every single day. Make it a practice. It could be a 30-second practice. It does not have to take a long time. Every single day, remind yourself what it is that you are here and living for, what it is that you are here and growing into and trying to express and moving through the vitality and the creativity of your life. You can use this practice before you try to do the things that you're doing. So for that person out there who's writing the book, before you sit down to do your 15 minutes of writing every single day, because we're more effective doing small things regularly than trying to do everything at once. So before you do that 15 minutes of writing every day, take 15 seconds and feel in your own center and let it expand into the space around you, the actual feeling of having your book written. I hope any or all of that feels helpful for you. If it does, Aquarius, please leave me a comment and let me know. And if this horoscope is meaningful for you and if you appreciate my work, please help it to grow and also to be sustained in the world. The number one way that you can do that is by liking and subscribing to this channel and by sharing it with your friends and networks. If you are able to be in reciprocity and would like to send me a tip, you can find the link to do that in the show notes. You can also support me through coming to embodied astrology classes and events. I teach a class every Monday morning from 8 to 9:30 a.m. Pacific time on Zoom that's called Somatic Space. I love this class and I would love to share it with you. If you enjoy the integration of embodied practice and astrology, you'll love Somatic Space. We work with the astrology of the week ahead through accessible movement, meditation, and visualization, and contemplative practice. It is very experimental. It always leaves me feeling better. It always sets me up in a good way for the week, and I would love to share it with you. We also have ongoing chart reading study groups and community spaces in the virtual platform for embodied astrology, and we are in a really big growth period right now and trying to expand out into in-person meetings. And so if you are a person who wants to play with astrology, if you're into experiential, embodied, relational practice of astrology where we are learning together, embodied astrology is your place and we want to hang out with you. So come hang out with us. We are having a community event on May 26th. That is the new moon in Gemini. One of Gemini's favorite keywords is neighbors. And I am going to be in conversation with one of my neighbors. Another keyword for Gemini is early childhood education. And my neighbor is a middle school teacher and he teaches science and mythology together. Can you imagine a better match for a Gemini season astrology conversation? I cannot. So I hope you will join me and Stephan on May 26th. You can find more information in the show notes below. Aquarius, I'm wishing you all the best in Gemini season and beyond, sending you a lot of love. Bye for now.